Carlos. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, everyone. We are going to wait, I think that 2 minutes. Hi, good morning. Hi, everyone, and welcome to this scientific dissemination workshop of ESIRA project. I'm Sonia Marcos from the University of and coordinator of the ESIRA project. First, if everyone agrees, we will record the workshop for later access. All of you are informed. Okay, we can start to record. Okay, welcome. Welcome to the ESIRA Scientific Dissemination Workshop from Collaboration to Action, how multi-actor platforms shape rural innovation. This session explores how collaborative governance and multi-actor engagement can translate knowledge, local access, and shared responsibility into concrete social innovation outcomes in rural areas. Building on evidence from ESIRA, another Horizon Europe project, in this workshop, we focus on the added value of multi-actor platforms in addressing complex rural problems, and also we are going to focus in the challenges of this multi-actor approach. The workshop will run until 11:30, then followed by 15-minute break. And then the workshop is followed by the ESIRA community of practice session, lesson learned and future challenges at 11:45 minutes. Okay, this is more or less the structure of this morning. Well, the ESIRA project adopts a multi-actor approach. During the first year of the project, 9 multi-actor platforms were established, one in each pilot area across 7 countries. Okay, please react with a thumbs up using the Teams tool if you are familiar with multi-actor platforms. In your academy research, in other projects, are you able to react? Okay, thank you. And please react with a thumbs down if you are not familiar with them. Any thumbs down? Okay. Okay. I'm going to explain very briefly what we are doing in ESIRA. In ESIRA, multi-actor platform is conveyed as a flexible governance structure composed of individuals linked to the pilot rural areas, participating as representatives of civil society, policy, business, or academia. These MAP members collaborate to jointly define challenges and co-create solutions with shared objective of fostering inclusive rural development through innovative social economy initiatives. In ESIRA project, maps are designed as open and adaptable structure, allowing members to join or leave according to availability and commitment. During this process, several challenges have been identified, including sustaining the engagement of MAP members and facilitators, ensuring meaningful participation in a fully voluntary setting, and securing the continuity of these platforms beyond the project's lifespan for which they were initially established. And this is perhaps our main challenge. Here today, we are pleased to welcome contribution from the following Horizon Europe projects and speakers in this so interesting topic, multi-actor platforms. We have Beatriz Izquierdo from ESIRA project, Carlo Giua from FUTURAL project, Fabiana Stortini from GRANULAR project, and Barbara Wieliczko. She's a colleague from ESIRA, but today she's going to explain the experience in SOILSCAPE projects and LandShift. They will share insights and experiences on collaborative approaches and multi-actor engagement in rural innovation. Each presenter will have between 10 and 15 minutes for their presentation, and then there will be a question and answer session at the end. Okay? I think that we can start with the presentation of Beatriz Izquierdo.
Okay. Okay, shall I start?
Yes, but if you can share in full screen, it will be better.
Yes, I just removed. I just. Okay. Well, thank you, Sonia. Thank you, everyone. I am Beatriz Izquierdo. I'm going to share our presentation on behalf of my colleagues from the University of Burgos. The title is Factors Shaping Engagement in Multi-Actor Platforms. We are at ESIRA, we are almost at the equator, at the middle of our project. And this year, this last month, we have been thinking we are raising many questions about why are the participants joining our MAPS meeting, which are the motivation, which are the expectations, and so on. Because when we started with the project, we were reading so much literature on participatory structures, multi-action platforms, roll-ups, but we didn't find much information on the evaluation, on the results. So that's something we wanted to do, and we have been carrying out some qualitative research, and this morning this is what I'm going to share. Okay, so as most of us, as I have seen, we are familiar to these structures. So, but just a little reminder that they have been designed as places for dialogue, for collaboration, co-creation. But we still wanted to know how the map works. Okay, they quite a lot of written about how to set up, how to implement the map, but we wanted to know how they work. When they work, which are the lessons we have to learn, and when they are not working, what's going on. We have that hypothesis at the beginning that despite this growing implementation, especially in the European horizon projects, we still have limited knowledge about what's going on inside the maps. Okay, as Sonia has mentioned, we have 9 pilots, and we have taken all of them to our research. They come from different countries, different cultures, and this is one point that we are going to mention also, that due to the participatory culture in some rural places in different
sorry for
countries.
interrupt you.
Yes.
But the slide is not changing.
No?
No.
For me, yes. And this one? No?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, try to do it again.
I try again. Yeah, because I was just talking because for me it was okay. Okay. Let's see. Now?
Please try to change between slides.
Okay. Let me check because it's, I don't know what happened.
Yes, someone suggests that you
Okay.
try to share the whole screen.
Yes. Can you see that one?
Yes. Now.
No?
Now you are not sharing, but I think that it was working.
Okay, now for you?
Yes. Try
Can you see?
to go to the next slide.
I have gone. No?
No. Go out of full screen. Are you in full screen?
Yes.
Go out, because we don't see in full screen. Now, I think that if you change again, yes, now it's working. Continue, please.
So, but I am not in full screen. Okay.
Okay, it's better now.
And you see, even though if not in full screen, maybe I can put this bigger.
It's okay, Bea.
It's okay. I'm sorry. I don't know what happened. Well, okay, sorry for that. Okay, I was just saying that despite all the literature we were reading, we didn't find much information, much research on which was the map evaluation. Okay. So for us, like how the map are working is like a black box. Okay, from one side we have the members. We have a different kind of members with a very different profile. We have this member interaction that sometimes works very well, sometimes doesn't work that well. We have each of the members have their own motivation and of course their own expectations. Okay, so and from the other side, we have the type of initiative that have been promoted and how long this structure are going to be sustainable or they are going to be maintained in this area. So what happened inside this black box is that we wanted to know, because in some maps, this structure are working very well. They are promoting initiatives and there's a good collaboration, but in others it has been very difficult to join people, especially some kind of a participant and so on. So this is our main framework. Okay, we raise three main questions here. The profile of the participant engaged in the maps. Secondly, we wanted to know their motivation, why people who have joined the map wanted to be there, and which were their expectations at the beginning and now. And later on, some challenge, but we are just working on this third one. So I'm going to focus on the first one and the second one. To answer this question, we have used qualitative research. Okay, we have been basically we have carried out an organized focus group, and most, I wouldn't say all, but most of the members of the 9 partners where it's what is already a map set up have taken part, and also of course we have the participant observation from our experience in Burgos. Okay, so which profile? There are some difference among one country to the other, and even though within the same country there are difference also, but we have found 5 main groups of participants, like local enterprises. Okay, and in some maps they are quite overrepresented, in others they are less. Okay, but they are in all of them. We have found mayors also, local mayors and some other politicians at the regional level. For instance, we have found associations. I think this is the profile more overrepresented. Okay, associations, NGOs from different backgrounds. We have found people who just turn up to the maps and want to join. In some places like Burgos, we have found these individuals like quite a lot of retired people. Okay, and we have found also people from academia and from research institute, but this profile depends also on the map. What we have found is, and it's quite common, is the underrepresented. Those groups who are underrepresented mostly overall the maps. I mean, this group that it has been quite difficult to engage in these platforms. From one side, young people. Okay, it is true that in rural areas there's a scarce number of young people, but still it has been difficult, the few of them just to join the maps. From other side, migrants in some rural areas, like the one in Burgos. They represent maybe more than 10% of the population, but it's still very difficult to join these structures. And some other vulnerable groups, like Roman people in some maps, or people with disabilities. Okay. Our second question was the participant motivation. Okay, we wanted to know why they joined the maps, which were those reasons. We have found two main reasons. The first one, social motivations. Okay, you have this quoted that we have taken from people. The social motivation ran from to be part of the community, to be part of something. This, in this case, from the community to be involved, to be part of the community, and also to be part of this small community that the map represents now. That's why I add the word that I like, togetherness. That this someone from a map say that people in that map they have found like a place that they work together. Also, we found that someone feels that they have a responsibility. It was a European project, and especially some politicians in some focus group, they have commented that they thought that they have to be there. Okay. But apart from the social motivation, which we think they are the most relevant, we have found some other motivation, like economic ones. For instance, people who think that staying in the map could provide new opportunities for the business, or they can find a job, or even improve the job opportunities. But the ones which are in orange, they have been mentioned quite a lot and have to do with some other motivations, like to build new networks, okay, to organize projects together for the community, and the idea of a collaboration, or as someone resumed, like joining forces. Okay. What about the expectation? Because I think we think that expectation, what people expect, have a lot to do with the time they are going to spend and the effort they are going to spend in the maps. We have found two mains. The first one was funds. Okay, at the beginning, some of them joined because they thought it was an European project and they could maybe get some funds for their project, economic project or social project. So I put it here in brackets. Someone said money, money, money. That's what they wanted. But after a while, and after knew that there was no funds, for only direct funds for the project, what they expect is support, different kind of support, like advisory for association or for enterprise, training in some different issues, and also don't feel alone. I have put here like to join to a common network, but if you listen to the focus group and listen to the people, some of them say they feel that they don't want to feel that they are alone, that there's some organization or some network or some structure, like a map that I can go and ask, and we can join in a common network. Of course, some expectations have to do also with the implementation of the initiatives. Okay, we are now in the time of implementing this initiative, so depending on how they are running along these months, it's going to be important just to keep and maintain in these structures. Okay, some 15 minutes I have now. I'm just finishing some preliminary findings and comments, and maybe we can share later. What we have found is that the map operate more effectively in contexts that previously have this participatory mechanism. Okay, there are some regions where they have been previously to ESIRA, some other participatory platforms were set up. And also we have found that in cultures, like in northern countries, European northern countries, where participatory culture is stronger. Okay, we have found the idea to reinforce that facilitator is a role that it must be reinforced because it's very, very relevant. Like a facilitator for us is that person that feed up continuously the map, keep informed, and is like a mechanism between people in the map and the organizers. Okay, so I think it's important. The preliminary results reveal how maps prove to be effective in fostering local engagement, that's for sure. And they strengthen community networks, that's for sure also. But we also have some doubts that about the sustainability of these structures once the projects are finished. Okay, so I think we are going to go back to this issue later, but I would like to finish with this sentence. There's a risk also coming back to the profile, the participant. There is a risk that some this socially innovative structure, okay, despite the relevance and strategic value in rural areas that of course they might help to exclude certain groups, okay? And this is an issue that after the break, we are going to keep saying that we are doing rural innovation, social innovation, but we must take care if we are leaving some groups on the way. And that's all. Thank you very much, and sorry for this technical inconvenience.
Thank you, Beatriz. Don't worry, technical inconveniences are always present. Thank you for your presentation. As I said before, we are going to leave the comments and questions to the end to ensure that all presenters have enough time for their presentations. And we are going to go to the next presentation. Carlo Giua. Is well said. Okay.
Yes, here I am. Don't worry.
Hi, Carlo.
Good morning, everyone.
He's going to present an experience from FUTURAL project that is a sister project of ESIRA. And if you want to share your screen.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, you should be able to see the screen, right?
Yes, perfect. Thank you.
Okay, I'll put you here. At least I can see you. Sorry, I'm playing with multiple screens, so it's okay. Here we are. So we have 10-12 minutes, right? So I still have to run, but a little bit less. Yeah, again, good morning, everyone. I'm Carlo Giua. Don't worry for the surname because also Italian people have issues with mine. I'm a postdoc research fellow here at the University of Pisa. And today I'm gonna talk about some preliminary results that is coming from the work of the University of Pisa, which specifically deals with multi-actor approaches in FUTURAL project. I'm gonna say some words regarding FUTURAL a little bit later. So first, as you could see from the title, we wanted to talk about rural innovation ecosystems, but some introductory slides to say first why we have to talk about innovation in rural areas and why ecosystemic approaches. Because differently from ESIRA, the FUTURAL project deals specifically with technological and digital innovation in addition to social. First, we all know about the structural issues that are affecting the rural areas. This is a quote from the 8th cohesion report. We talk about a development trap of rural issues with some common characteristics, and innovation is thought as one way, not just the only way to help rural areas to escape from this rural development trap. And the well-known long-term vision for rural areas adopt this view, creating this flagship, so a specific keystone of the strategy that aims at creating stronger innovation ecosystems in rural areas. So we started from here asking, but what does it mean, a rural innovation ecosystem, and why to adopt it in rural areas? So the need for these systemic approaches is related to the kind of societal challenges that we as society and rural societies are living, the so-called wicked issues. So those issues that are very complex, interdependent, and for which linear approaches that just look at one side and propose one solution are not working anymore. We need the systemic approaches that are able to look at the root causes of the issues, which most of the times are complex and interdependent too. And this relates also to the type of innovations we need, which are not only linear and technological. We need the transformative approaches that go beyond the technological advancements that are proposed, and which should aim at changing some way of behaving, way of some attitudes, so also some norms and values. And while reviewing the theoretical innovation approaches to rural areas, we understood that these theories adopt a systemic approach only to a limited extent. We reviewed regional innovation models, social innovation that you talked also, and also some scholars from the social innovation streams report the need to advance the transformative aspect of social innovations, so able to influence routines, beliefs, and so on. That's why we landed in ecosystemic thinking. That is the kind of thoughts that some theories that were initially applied to ecological studies to talk about these complex and interdependent living organisms that were behaving as a unified system. And then this approach was applied to social sciences and especially business ecosystems, specifically to look at how most of the times, especially in industrialized context, innovation was the result of complex network of actors that together were able to co-evolve some abilities to produce innovations. And at the same time, these different actors were collaborating and competing all together. So we started asking ourselves, could this theoretical lens be applied to rural innovation mechanism, and if so, how these ecosystems in rural context were behaving. We adopted this theoretical lens in the FUTURAL approach, FUTURAL project, which started in 2023. So as ESIRA, more or less, we are a little bit more than half of its life span. Some words more on the approach of FUTURAL. So it adopts a multi-actor approach, but you will be hearing MAP from my side. From FUTURAL side, MAPS is a different acronym, which of course shares the multi-actor setup, but it focuses on piloting, so on pilots, on basically testing advanced technologies. So we work with these multi-actor pilots, these maps in 6 different regions. These maps aim at a concrete outcome, which are technological innovations and digital innovations, which should be accompanied by, of course, social and business. FUTURAL projects should fund additional innovations. The open call funded more or less 10 additional digital innovations, and all these innovations will be reported in this meta search platform. And yeah, the last thing that could be interesting also for us, we promote an annual event, the URIF event, that this year will be in Lithuania, in Jonava, where we basically wanted to share the approaches, the contributions of these projects to rural areas in just one event. So everyone, of course, in this call is invited to participate. Okay, the methodology quickly, we adopted a qualitative approach. Today, I'm going to talk about a multiple case studies, and we selected 3 of these pilots. I'm going to say something more in the next slide. And regarding the data collections methods we adopted, we worked both with secondary and primary data. And when talking about primary data, we use a different bunch of methods going from in-depth semi-structured interviews, open-ended and multiple choice surveys to obtain standardized, let's say, comparable responses. And also these maps were involved in several phases of co-creation workshops. So we tried to collect notes during these co-creation workshops, and also to use some monitoring tools to understand, as Beatriz was saying before, what's going on inside these maps. These are the pilots we are talking about. We have one map in the Durangaldea, Basque Country, and each of these maps was working with a challenge and proposing, let's say, working with some external technical providers to produce digital technological solutions. In the case of this mountainous area of the Basque Country, we had a map leader, the Urquiola Landa Carapeña Rural Development Association, that wanted to improve the situation of accessibility of social services. So what they were doing was to, with some technology providers, to collect a bunch of different open access data and to combine it in a crowd sensing platform able to report some information to especially policymakers regarding the accessibility of some services like hospitals, shops, and so on. Then we go to the Belgium in Westhoek, where the West Flanders province, the map leader, was specifically focusing on extreme climate crisis events, and specifically floods. So with a research center from Delft, they were trying to develop an hydrological model able to predict the behavior of this important river that was crossing some of the municipalities, enabled to advance some mitigation strategies and particularly nature-based solutions. And then we are going to talk about Kythera, an island in the Attica region of Greece, which basically suffers of some issues that are common to a lot of rural areas. And here the focus will be to develop this platform, trying to engage local residents, but the massive tourists that come every year, to engage them in the monitoring and maintenance of this strong network of trails that they had, in order to give some possibilities to local residents or tourists to be more engaged, let's say, in the local opportunities. Preliminary results. Very quickly, we mapped these rural innovation ecosystems, and we see some similarities also on what Beatriz was saying. Basically, the protagonism of public entities, public bodies in advancing innovations in these areas, with some differences pertaining to the let's say, presence of businesses and for example, universities in some areas. And then we also try to simply measure, let's say, we ask specifically the map leaders to report about the level of connectedness that there is between these actors of these innovation ecosystems. And in terms of, basically the extent and the quality of connection that there is between different actors. And here we can see that different situations, the collaborative approach of the Belgian country, that is general, let's say, and instead more, let's say, private-led and university to some extent led connections in Kythera, and instead the let's say the poorer collaborative extent of this Basque map. And here quickly, let's say more theoretical, this is the almost the last slide, the theoretical also contribution that we give regarding how this rural innovation ecosystem behave. And also, we identified three different phases during this year. And through these phases, we also can see what are the challenges that also Beatriz was talking about when looking on how these maps behave. We start talking about this anchoring process also that comes from also social innovation literature, that is basically when knowledge, in this case more external knowledge, interacts with and within the territories. And we can observe different dynamics pertaining the two extremes between exogenous approach, where especially we could see the protagonism of external technology providers, and more neo-endogenous approach, where basically local actors managed to really reshape the scope of application, so the social need identification, but the scope of application of the technology, and also to be very, let's say, impacting in the kind of feedbacks that were given to the technology providers. In some cases, and especially in the exogenous approach, we could see that the social challenge identified was still important, but in some cases was not felt as so relevant for the community, and so even to some extent the technology proposed. We were looking specifically, and I'm still talking about the first phase, at the alignment with previous technology development strategies. And in some cases, we could see that the challenge selected was not so clearly aligned with the projects before. In the second phase, we were observing at where maps were activated, so started to co-design, so to give inputs to the development of the solutions. In most of the cases, we could see that technology providers were working with already very simply, but to some extent defined prototypes. And only in one case, and we will see also what are the results, we could see that the local community managed to radically change the scope of application of the smart solutions. We are talking about the Kythera case. And while in the other cases, Westhoek and Durangaldea, at the beginning, there were some uncertainty regarding the basic functionalities of the prototypes. Then we go to the last phase, the one of the concrete co-creation, and we could see here that again, what Beatriz was saying, when some collaborative network were already present and existed, these shaped they were involved in the co-creation process, and they really manage and help to shape the innovation towards the needs, and also help to engage local stakeholders. In the case, for example, of Durangaldea, where there were a poorer sense of ownership of the challenge and the solutions, this was also only to limited extent. Okay, I don't have time to go within this chart, but this is just to say that we monitored also the feedbacks of the map leaders, and it's not. This could see, even those numbers are not statistically significant, that in the case of Kythera, when it was search more flexibility, the feedbacks on the setup phase and the co-creation were very much more positive. And this, yes, it is my last slide. Just two things we looked at this. Let's say, anatomy of rural innovation ecosystems, and we identified some common phases and factors. And just one last thing regarding the what might be the future research, because you talked about impacts and we totally agree on the need to really measure the outcomes and the impacts. In our sense, that our future efforts will focus on trying to understand to what extent these rural innovation ecosystem, these innovations can really lead to transformative impact. So can really lead to change in attitudes, skills, and also institutionalizations of these innovations. And yeah, with this, sorry, I'm late, but I finish. And thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Carlo. Thank you for your presentation. Really interesting results. Well, I think that we have enough time to comment at the end of the workshop. Okay, we are going to go to the next presentation. Fabiana Stortini from GRANULAR project.
Yes, thank you.
Hi, Fabiana.
Hi everyone, and I'm very happy to see also some partners from GRANULAR and listen the presentation of Carlo that is my colleagues. So I'm very happy to be here with all of you. So
Okay, thank
I
you.
don't know, I think you can see the
Yes.
screen. Okay, perfect.
We can see, perfect. You can go. You
I will
can
check
start.
also the time. So good morning, everyone. I'm Fabiana from the University of Pisa group, and today I'll share with you some insights that coming from GRANULAR project. And in this case, we are the coordinator of living labs in GRANULAR. So I will try to give you some information in terms of how to engage and support living labs in the project. But first of all, what is GRANULAR? GRANULAR is an Horizon project. We are in the last year, and the main aim of GRANULAR is to identify and test new sources of data and try to find also tools in order to give an alternative way to support the decision-making process at a different level and scale. Also because the problem at European level is the approach that is applying for rural areas. So how to characterize the difference in rural areas and how to support with better knowledge. To do this, the project, of course, we are many partners. That's your project, so scientific partners and also living labs and replication labs. So if you see the map, we have 7 living labs across Europe with the red flag. So from Italy, but also in northern of Sweden, rural Scotland, the south part of France, the northern part of Spain, in Vigo, and also the Netherlands and Poland. And then also 19 replication labs across Europe. So this is the way that the project try to integrate the vision from territories in its activities. So if we think about the process, so we identify as coordinators some elements that are common. Of course, the living labs are very different in terms of geographies, dimension, components, actors, and knowledge, but we are able to identify also some specific and common challenge and also opportunities for them. So GRANULAR and also the part of living labs and replication labs try to apply a sort of iterative process. In this case, we promote sort of interaction between inside of the living labs, of course, between living labs, but also with project partners. And also the other elements that are very important that also colleagues before explained that are the part of skills and exploitation, especially exploitation coming from the territorial actors. So how we can reduce the gap between science and society? I tried to give you a sort of overview with some post-its that living labs and replication labs use during our reflexive workshop, the other common activities that we had in Granular. So if we think about the policy cycle applied to the research of new data and also the part of integration of this new data and local knowledge in the policy cycle, we can explore the process that living labs applied in Granular, especially in the first part of the project, so the first two years. So living labs decided to work in their own priorities, supported by the Rural Compass tool used in Granular. When I speak about priorities, in this case, we intend the part of touristic flows, but also the management of natural resources, the accessibility and basic services. So every living lab decided to focus their attention on these kind of priorities and identify data and alternative sources of data. Of course, this kind of process was a sort of, it was not so easy for them because the local knowledge are fragmented, especially in terms of data. So how we can identify the data provider, for example, how to use some data, you have some problem with privacy, etc. And also the very complicated part was the time scale. So time, it's a very important element, especially when you work on territory. So time to understand the needs from local stakeholders, time to integrate these needs and identify if they are feasible or not at project level and so on. So in this case, the work was to work on collective action and process of learning, and also to understand if it is feasible or not to use some data sources. In this case, some labs decided to work and combine qualitative data with quantitative data, but of course it's not so easy when you don't have capabilities in this kind of sense. So specific capabilities are needed when we speak about data, especially the big data set that coming from European Commission, for example, but also data at national level, etc. And the facilitators identified that regular workshop and meetings led by scientists, in this case, are very important to support them, to create their to shape also their knowledge on this sense. This is very important because data are considered not neutral. So data have history, purpose, and the process of data preparation, it's not so easy because are related to data reliability, but also the part of the interpretation. So in what way we can interpret this kind of data with local knowledge, for example, it was the main, and it is the main process that we have in Granular. So how to integrate the vision that coming from research partners with the vision of rural areas. And also another challenge was the keep people motivated. How to? Just to resume a little bit, the main key issues that we identified during the first 2 years of the project were the language barriers and also some conceptual divide, the engagement, words, and the part related to data. For the first key issue, in the very first part of the project, it was very important to translate the content, but also to go beyond. So how to create a sort of a dictionary that all the people are able to use it, to understand when we have also a meeting, for example. And the facilitator, it's a key person because it is in between, no? Between the territories and local actors, and also he or she has to translate a little bit the needs from territory and report these needs to the scientific partners, for example. Instead, if we look and if we think about the part of engagement and inclusion, of course, it's important that living labs are flexible and it depends on their structure, especially because sometimes they have a different components to work in some priorities, I don't know, water management, for example, and instead they involve other kind of actors to study the part of the supply chain. So this could be also an initial problem, and it's the part of understanding the motivation for engagement. It's very important, and also show tangible progress and promote a sort of a transparency inside of the project. And instead, if we look at how to achieve the part of data, the work, the challenge, it's from territory in terms of how to integrate knowledge, how to read this kind of data, what is the sense. But the other challenge is coming from research partners. So if we think about the researchers that have to present some results, it's not so easy also for them to find a clear way to communicate this kind of results. So just to conclude, how to embed and integrate the territorial perspective in the project. It's important, as I mentioned before, the part of transparency, but also regular feedback and participatory approaches, and try to guarantee more spaces for the part of in-person meeting, especially in the first part of the project, in order to gain trust among partners, but also try to share to touch the project and also the people that are working on it. So cross visits, local events, and the part of work a little bit on the part of languages. And then, and this is the final reflection that also I think the colleagues can share and the labs after. It's important, the long-term commitment. Maybe it's not mandatory, we know, but it's very important to have to establish a sort of involvement also beyond the project and also the objective that the project has. So I'm stop and thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Fabiana, for your presentation. We are going to go to the last presentation by Barbara Wieliczko. Hi, Barbara.
Hi, good morning, everyone. So I'll just do my presentation. Okay. Okay. So thank you very much for inviting me. I know many of you from other projects. First of all, I'm as ERDN also part of the ESIRA team. And in ESIRA, we have two Polish maps. In this project, I'm also part of GRANULAR project. So in Poland's GRANULAR Living Club is organized by Koszalin Technology University, but we also participate as ERDN in the replication labs. So I have also this experience. But today, can you see my presentation, first of all?
Yes.
Good. But today I'm going to present a different experience I recently gained from different projects, because so far we've been talking about projects that are focused on rural communities. And today I'm going to present two projects, LandShift and SOILSCAPE, that are not so rural focused. So they also gave me a very different experience related to multi-actor approach. And this is what I'm going to share with you today. These two projects are at the early stage of working with multi-actor approach. There is not much I can tell about the sustaining of the groups or outcomes, or much cooperation within these units, but still the experience is very interesting and I think enriching for us all. So first, LandShift project. This project has 13 months of experience. It started in October 2024. As you can see, the title, community-led creation of living spaces in shifting landscapes for climate resilient land use management and supporting the new European Bauhaus. So this is a totally different project than the ones we've been talking about today. So we have this community-led creation of living spaces. Living spaces is not just different phrase, different name for multi-actor platforms or living clubs, but the idea is the same. It's about quadruple helix and representatives of different groups of stakeholders. In LandShift, we have only 5 living spaces. These represent regional groups from Poland, France, Italy, Ukraine, and Greece. So as you can see from the title of the project, it's about landscapes, land use change, and related to climate resilience, and it is also related to this new concept being implemented by European Commission of a new European Bauhaus, which means that not only sustainable development, but when it comes to social, economic, and environmental issues, but also this aesthetic beauty and comfortability of spaces and landscapes is important. So living spaces in each region tackle different issues and different problems because each region represented within LandShift project is totally different, but they are all related to the same issues of preserving landscapes, becoming more resilient to climate changes, preserving biodiversity, ecosystems, and also taking into account socioeconomic realities and issues. So it is the project's objectives are to test new ways to support resilience to climate change and in relation to land use and land use change. New data sources are being created, new tools to collect data, to analyze data, and to support different groups of stakeholders in these regions. So the living spaces are to co-create solutions with local communities, land managers, researchers, and policymakers, adapt innovation to local realities, ensuring that strategies at EU, national, regional, and local levels are taken into account. Demonstrate scalable models that can inspire other regions and other groups of stakeholders, test and validate new approaches. At the key of these living spaces is the multi-actor approach. So there is a work package related to this to ensure that all the stakeholder groups can participate and can co-create solutions, discuss issues relevant to their living spaces. So currently For example, in Italy, they are preparing a workshop on forestry strategy in the region of Basilicata. Each living space has its own objectives because there are different problems and issues related to land use in each of the regions. And what is very important also in this project, maybe a bit different from the ones I've participated before, is this complexity of policymaker actors, because in each living space, different public institutions are responsible for different issues related to land use and land use change. And these are not only actors related to agriculture or forestry, but also to building, also to other sectors of the economy, local communities, so different needs, different problems, and different expectations towards the way the land is used, and this creates more complexity cooperating within a living space to cater to these different needs and expectations towards changes in land use. The other project I'm involved in is also related to land, or more specifically to soil. It is SOILSCAPE. The title is Spreading Open and Inclusive Literacy and Soil Culture Through Artistic Practices and Education. It is also a project that has just recently organized first meetings of its multi-actor platforms. Here in this project, they are called orchestras. So yet another name for the same approach of including different groups of stakeholders related to the topic of the project. So this project has 4 phases. Actually, we are in the phase 2, the stage 2, so preparation. First, we analyze the situation and soil literacy best practices, the public policies, to understand the status quo and the point we are starting our journey with increasing soil literacy thanks to this multi-actor approach and including different stakeholders in soil orchestras. Now we have just created soil orchestras, so we'll come to stage 3 to action with festivals related to soil to spread the knowledge and soil literacy among general public within our study regions. But in this project, it is slightly different than in, for example, LandShift, because some orchestras are at the national level and some at regional level, which also adds to the complexity of the project and running the orchestras. The last stage will be sustainability, so ensuring the project is sustainable. It brings relevant policy recommendations and spreads the idea of soil orchestras. Here, I would say the complexity of this multi-actor platforms is even bigger, because it is not only about all these quadruple helix representatives, but also here we have people talking totally different languages, and I don't mean English or French or Italian, because each orchestra operates within one language. But it is a different language because we have representatives of soil researchers, so experts in the soil health, in different issues related to soil health. And at the same time, we have artists who operate with totally different approach to soil and totally different language. So here we, even from the very start, we see that there is this language barrier that we as facilitators of these orchestras so orchestra conductors, we have to overcome and to create this common language to cooperate. This proved to be even difficult at the level of creating website for the project when different opinions clashed between soil experts and artists. So this is also something interesting that can be a good practice for projects not that complicated, that you have to really settle common ground and common language on how do you understand and define different things that you work together within your living clubs or multi-actor platforms. So in a SOILSCAPE project, the orchestras are units of 15 to 30 individuals representing arts, science, education, policy, and community. They are to design and carry out creative and interdisciplinary projects related to soil knowledge, soil preservation, and to organize this soil festival. So, they have to develop skills, support developing skills on soil and art issues. So I really see, even although we are at the beginning of this cooperation with the Polish soil orchestra, that it's a big challenge to integrate these two words of art and science. So this is something new for me and for most of people involved in all the orchestras. So this is also something that has to be tackled and understood by all the members and also the facilitators of the orchestras, that the people are from totally different worlds, and this is a challenge and at the same time great opportunity to create something new, something innovative, and really being creative and co-creative. Then we'll have to expand the orchestra. So the nationals are to go lower, so to the regional level, and the regional orchestras are to go to the national level. So this is also the idea of expanding the impact of the project. So this will also give another challenge to the orchestra conductors, how to manage this. And this is about to start next year with this work package on exploitation and sustainability of the messages from the project. And here, because I haven't mentioned that yet, is the map of the orchestras that have been created within SOILSCAPE project. So as you can see, we have France with National Orchestra, Switzerland with National Orchestra, we have Portugal with Regional Orchestra, Italy with Regional Orchestra, Bulgaria with Regional Orchestra, Germany with National Orchestra, Poland with Regional Orchestra, and Finland with National Orchestra. So differently to the projects I been participated in the past, here we have multi-actor platforms created at the same time but at different levels, which also is quite an interesting experience to follow by all of you interested in this multi-actor approach, how this can be combined within one project, these different levels of operation of these platforms. But these platforms also have to expand. As I mentioned, orchestras are about 30 people, but they are also to expand with other external stakeholders to participate in these festivals and activities. So this will also give another layer of complexity of co-creating and working together within the project. So the initial lessons from multi-actor approach implementation within these two different projects are that really each multi-actor platform is different because of different contexts. Here, I mentioned local and regional conditions, but as you see, sometimes it starts already at the national level, which also adds complexity to this the mix of stakeholders and to the way they approach the ideas and the problems to be discussed within these groups. It is really crucial to clearly state the objectives of the map within a project, because not to discourage people from participating, not to confuse them, that, for example, they can gain access to some funding if it's not the case in a project. And what are the objectives? Not to have too many people dropping out during the project, because it can be a problem, and it's better that the group starts and finishes the same, because this can build trust, relations, and facilitate cooperation and co-creation within the group. There are always some stakeholders groups that are more difficult to attract, sustain, and to reach out. This is often the case with policymakers that struggle whether it is politically correct for them to participate or not. They are generally very busy, so it's hard to attract them. But in some cases, like for example in ESIRA, when we have to tackle specific vulnerable groups, it can be difficult to reach them, like youth or elderly people. And here I think from this two LandShift and SOILSCAPE project is a good piece of advice, that when you have different generations, they can use different language to describe the same thing. So you have to, as facilitators of these groups, understand differences in the approach, in the language, and try to cater to these different needs, and to support different groups in a dialogue, so the co-creation process can run more smoothly. So the last initial lesson from this project is that relations between the stakeholder groups and personal relations among MAP members must be well understood and well known by MAP managers to facilitate the cooperation and the co-creation processes. And thank you all very much for your attention. Here you have links to the websites of the two projects. As you see, they are totally different from the previously discussed projects, but as they use also multi-actor platform that can be relevant also for you in your research and your cooperation within living spaces, living clubs, or multi-actor platforms, or wherever they are called in your projects. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Barbara, for your presentation. Thank you all presenters. And we have more or less 10 minutes for discussion. And I would like to open the micro if there is any question, any comment. You can raise your hand or open your micro. I can start if you are shy people. Well, I think that I have, perhaps it's not a question, it's more a reflection. That is something that was in common in some presentations today. That is something that said Beatriz and also Carlo, that existing collaborative networks facilitate the well-functioning of the maps in the rural areas. And I was thinking about the importance of the social capital and maintaining the social capital in rural areas, because I'm thinking that perhaps our problems today will facilitate future projects in the in the following years. And it's something that I would like to know about your opinion related to how to maintain this social capital in the rural areas, how to maintain the current projects and the engagement, the current engagement of the rural actors in order to facilitate the future projects in the following years. I don't know if you are thinking about it. That is, this capital, this building of social capital is like a process, and we are part of this process today. I don't know if you have any idea related to this. Carlo, please.
Yes, yeah, thank you for the reflection, Sonia or Maria.
Yes.
Sonia.
Sonia.
Okay. I think our group works a lot with the multi-actor approaches and living labs in general, and the issue of finding the out for the living labs or how to be sustainable. It is the challenge. In a sense, you were talking to about something a little bit different on how creating these enhancing conditions for participations and for exchanging resources, capabilities, which is the multi-actor platforms. And you know, from the FUTURAL perspective, our multi-actor platforms are very outcome, let's say, driven. I think to some extent we are trying to transferring, of course, methodologies and attitudes to collaborate and working together. And as I said before, local territories are different from this side, because probably also Beatriz was saying, also we experienced that from the north side, there is more attitude to some extent and the collaborative, cooperative approaches are institutionalized, and we can observe it also when it comes to our projects. So to some reflections first, giving common methodologies and creating these transferring, in a sense, or sharing these tools. It is starting. In our project, we are working for the first time with small municipalities that are not really, let's say, used to work these methodologies. And then something that I see in common with the project, with also the other projects, this sharing of also differences between territorial dimensions, also the sharing of different attitudes and practices. I think it's a very good point. Third point in our case was also to in the recent months we organized workshops to specifically address some problems, issues, conflicts. So to recognize that some conflicts, tensions are inherent to these iterative processes, and to work to not to, let's say, try to hide them, but to also collaboratively report these issues and try to discuss on common solutions. That's something that I think creates a culture, let's say, of working together also in these contexts.
Thank you. Barbara, please.
Thank you. I think that we, as people involved in different projects, we have this opportunity to give space and voices to different groups of actors to actually start talking together, because in my opinion, they don't have experience talking to with other groups of stakeholders. This in public space, there is still not sufficient room to really talk to each other, and here we create this welcoming environment to all these groups, and we give them the right to speak, and no one is more important than the other group. And this, I think, can create this social capital thanks to this opportunity to be equal and to have the right to express your opinion, to listen. And this is also our responsibility to really create this welcoming and good place that people can really communicate, to present their rationale, to present their opinion about this difficult issues in many cases. So this is really important what we are doing in this project, because if they get to know each other from the project, they can cooperate at different level for different issues. So if we teach them that the others are not their, competitors, but there is a common issue to be tackled, common problem to be solved. This gives the opportunity to really start talking and come to some, conclusions, and not just fight and, who wins. We create this space to find win-win solutions for all the actors. Thank you.
Yeah, totally agree with you. There is any comment, any question in the chat? I have a question for Fabiana, because I have read in one of your slides related to the key issues about inclusion of local actors that was managing relationships with care. And I love this, this idea. Can you explain or develop a little what is managing with care in
Yes,
your
I think
maps?
thank you for the question. With care, I think it's the opposite of to ask directly question without establish before a sort of a relation between partners and also actors. So how the reflection was how to avoid the extractivism extractivism of data. Okay, I have to know what are the main actors that are involved in the labs now, and it's not working. It's not working also inside of the labs. So when, of course, our first actor that we involve in the project are the facilitators. So the facilitators are the interfaces between the project and the territory. So for them, especially in the first part of the project, it was not so easy to involve people inside. Okay, because, for example, in the case of Italy, but I think also in some other cases, but GRANULAR with this long name, but what is this project? So GRANULAR giving, so it's, and it's a sort of an obstacle. So it's the first obstacle of this, how to put on the ground the project with and the actors have to work also to find a meanings of this project in their territories. And also as it's our work to support them in how to find a solution and also support this relation. And we saw that the important thing is to create a sort of in-person meetings. I think are mandatory, especially the cross visits between living labs with local actors that can be involved. And of course, the problem is also the language. So it's not so easy to speak in English. Maybe they know, but they are a little bit shy. So it's another obstacle of this kind of European project. I think the language, it's not so easy to break the wall in this kind of relationship, I think. But and the first thing is the time. So time of project, but also the process, So yeah, we will see.
Okay, yes, I love this idea, and I think that I'm going to copy from Granular this managing relationships with care. That is something perhaps is a good strategy to try to increase motivation and to clarify expectations in MAP members, and perhaps also is a good practice for engagement. Okay, I think that it's time to finish. Thank you, all of you. First, all presenters for your ideas, insights from your projects. Thank you, all the attendees, more than 50 people in this workshop. Thank you for that. And if there is any other question or comment, I think that we have time in the community of practice, that is a space, I think, to talk more about practice things, but I think also this workshop was a space for practice. And anything else? Thank you, all of you. We have a 15-minute break to take a coffee or what else, and see you in the same session room or space, whatever you call, and see you in 50 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you.
We stay here, right? In this room. Okay, perfect.
Hola Ángel, ¿qué tal?
Todo va bien, ¿cómo lo ves todo? Sí, ¿no? Yo creo que
Todo bien.
Ok,
A ver qué tal.
sí. Bueno, yo creo que todo bien. Hi, Milika.
How your voice, Milika? Don't speak. Hi again, everyone. One last minute to incorporate again to the session. Hi Atifa, how are you? Okay, welcome again. Welcome to this community of practice. I think that now this is the moment to learn, to ground our data, our research findings in practical applications. In the workshop, we have identified several challenges, such as participation, inclusion, language use, and also the sustainability of multi-actor platforms beyond the projects. Today, I think that among all of us, participants, researchers, and project partners with a multi-actor approach, we are in the perfect forum to identify key elements for the proper well-functioning of multi-actor platforms in rural areas. I hope now that the following discussion helps to consolidate transferable lessons and to outline future research policy, but the most important practice priorities for strengthening rural social innovation ecosystems in our regions. Now I'm going to leave the floor to Beatriz again to conduct a Padlet, a collaborative tool that we are going to use in this community of practice. Please, Beatriz.
Well, hello. We are back again. The idea of this community of practice is very simple. It's just learn each to the other. I think after our presentation and after describing our project, there are some different issues, of course, but there are quite a few same aspect that we share, and maybe we can learn how we have managed some situation, like we have already mentioned, just how to get different kind of groups which are very difficult to involve in the project. So we thought that maybe a Padlet or Miro, in this case is a Padlet, could be useful, and so as anyone can feel free to write down, and if anyone after that can share what he wrote or she wrote, sorry. Sorry.
Are you okay?
I'm sorry. Okay. Angel, can you please share the Padlet, and then we can give some comments?
I just shared the Padlet. It's on the chat, so you can all join it.
You can share the screen. Is that okay? Sorry for that.
Can you see the share screen? It should be working now. Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so probably there are more questions that would be raised later. But first of all, we have raised three main issues, three main questions. The first one is how to involve the missing social group to achieve map representativeness. I know that we have very different backgrounds and very different group of people. They might be not the same, but still there are some missing groups. So how could involve them in a practical way? Okay, not just saying, oh, you have to come, no, which is there sometimes. So any idea or any experience, please just put above. Do you have like this plus in green? Maybe most of you are used to Padlet, but if not, this all you can see on the screen a plus in green, so then you can add there the information. How to maintain these structures over the time. This is maybe also a challenging question. How can to do that? And I mean, how the first one is how to make other groups that are missing to be involved in the map. The second one is once the ones who are involved, how to maintain. And also, this is a very practical. A third one maybe is easy to understand, maybe not to answer. We should add some kind of incentive or rewards to be promoted among these participants. Okay, it said something like Julia. I think it was the name Julia. I'm sorry. When Sonia and Julia were talking about managing the relation, taking care. I don't know which kind of taking care. Okay, we are talking about training rewards. We are talking about money, or what are we talking about? Okay, so yeah, we will feel free to answer all of them. Maybe the ones you are more comfortable or the ones you have more experience. Okay, so we just add there and then we share all together. Okay. Thank you. Angel, the screen could be bigger? Because otherwise, I think we are not going to
I will try to.
to see more than.
I can make it bigger, but it's starting to become too small if I do it bigger. So can you see it clearly now, like, or more or less, or it's too small, kind of?
It's okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
one last minute. We can start to comment because I think that there are a lot of really good ideas in the Padlet. Okay, I think that we can start. Angel, please share your screen for all of us.
I thought I was already sharing the screen, but I think it's
Yes, it's not possible to see all the comments at the same time. Don't worry. Bea, do you want to start?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind to start if I see the first ones. Angel, please, can you? Okay. I'm sorry for that. Okay. I don't know. Okay, maybe it's easier just if anyone want to to share what what has written, because there are so many issues. Well, I think I've read them very fast, very quickly, but I think that a common feeling, a common sharing is that it is a challenge. Of course, it's a challenge to involve the main representatives in these structures, because otherwise we just do in an innovative way, but we reproduce what it was done before in rural areas. Like if we found leader groups, they are only representative some profiles of the rural life, and I think we have now the opportunity to don't reproduce that representativeness and include some other people that maybe they are not invited, but sometimes they feel that they don't belong to that group. Okay, it's in the case, for instance, in the case in our group in Spain, in the case of migrants, maybe they feel like they didn't wear, they are not born in this place, so maybe they think it's not relevant, their opinion, when it is. Sonia has mentioned ad hoc activities. We would like to share with you, or maybe Sonia, you want to share that we have a problem with young people. It is true that there are not many young people in our area in Burgos, okay, but still we were looking for young people, and young we mean under 40. We don't mean 20, under 40 or 30, 35 years, and it was very difficult just to that though they wanted to join us. So we decided another strategy. We decided to prepare a workshop for 2 weeks only for them, for young people. And we prepare a workshop and with training and advisory, and it has been quite successful, I will say. I don't know, Sonia, what you think? And it has been a way to engage them to the map, because sometimes they feel like they don't have money for initiative, so they feel like what I'm doing here, if I don't have any money just to set up a business or wherever. But here in this workshop, they have realized that they have ideas, and these ideas, maybe they need money, and sometimes, but not all of them need money. So I think it had just already finished last Saturday. I think it was finished. So we think it is a good strategy just to focus, first of all, in one particular group, which is difficult, and then just let them know about the overall project. Okay, what else? Polite wrote something. I don't know if you want to share. I don't know, want to talk about that? Oh, well, who else? Yeah, Julia, yeah. Julia, yes? Yes,
Angel is trying to open the micro of Julia.
Okay.
1 second.
Yeah, Julia and someone else. There's
It's a
someone
question of permissions.
who...
I'm giving you permission. So the one who raised their hand, I will give them permission to talk. So yeah, I'm working.
Okay, yes, thank you.
Julia, you should be, I know. So
Yes, please. Yes, Julia.
Julia, your micro is open, but I don't hear you.
Okay, maybe we leave the chance to Kerwin.
Hi, hello, good afternoon. Can you hear me properly?
Yes.
Yes.
Hi, hello, good afternoon. My name is good afternoon. My name is Kerwin Dimaktas. I'm connecting from Namibia, Africa. I'm a hospitality and customer service consultant. I have been following what you have all been discussing thus far. And from what I understand, I see this is typically aligning with what our challenges are in regards to, for example, in the rural areas, our aging populations, the declining village infrastructures, poor service access, over-regulations in some parts, etc., etc. So what we have noted, or what I have noticed with my colleagues on this part, those areas, many times they require a trust-first system before the infrastructure part of it, because going into putting infrastructure to improve the lives of whatever these village concerns are or conservancies, many times they will be left to rot instead of putting an actual use to it due to the lack of understanding why it was there in the first place. So it does not, I would never ever say that our villages or conservancies are backward, but I believe they may be slow to grasp what our urban norms are. And many times, again, from what I have heard just now, language barriers play a huge part of it. Historical mistrust, of course, exclusion from many decision-making aspects in regards to when there are meetings with the village or conservancy leaders with their urban counterparts, and the one-size-fits-all education models. So we have noticed that these does not really work to its full effect. And again, it is not a lack of willingness, but again, it comes down to a lack of trust. So as one of the presenters said earlier on, it is about gaining the trust first, or doing it properly. So therefore, yes, technology plays a huge part of this, but what we have noticed in the rural areas on our side is, or are, more platforms and academic pilots. These are not needed. What we have seen, our need, or the need in these rural areas, we have seen more trust-based entry points, more local leadership to buy into the ideas presented to them in the first place. Many times, again, this information has to be culturally aligned with what their needs are. And in getting that right, only then we would be able to get them to buy in to what the idea was in the first place. In our case down here in Namibia, Africa, the area we work in is mainly bridging the skills gap, and again, especially with our youth. So we need to get in touch with what our youth needs are, especially when it comes to study programs. And in this case, again, we need to get them to understand that they need to, if they want to study a generic qualification, for example, we want to get the idea across to them. Is it relevant to what you see as a career? Would you be able to get employment with what you're studying? Because many times they are studying in languages they're not even fluent in. And then when they are able to graduate, they would not be employed because, again, the language barrier. So again, I do not want to stray from what the topic is that you are currently presenting, as I see it is primarily European based, but I do see where a lot of what you are speaking or presenting, it does actually have relevance to what we are currently facing down here. So yeah, that was just my input for now until we go more into the topic.
Okay, thank you, Kervin. Thank you. Yeah, well, all the projects, as far as I know, they're European based, but what you are talking about, trust, I think is basic. It's an overall value, and it's an overall issue that that might be one of the main things in a map. I don't know if Julia wanted to share something, or we just jump to some other one who just want to comment. Some issue. We were talking about how to involve those missing social groups, how to know how to gather the inputs, the feelings, the opinions. The micro doesn't work. Okay. Okay, Julia, if you want to share through the chat, then we can read what you have said. Okay, I don't know if anyone else, if there's no one else, we can jump to, yeah, Carlo. Yes.
Yes, no, briefly to share what you have done in our project in FUTURAL, because actually to arrive to vulnerable groups actually was also a priority in our call, for example. And I think, one thing that is in common in all the comments is that you have to develop ad hoc strategies, of course, and which are different from the mainstream one that you use in, of course, urban environment. In our cases, for example, two maps collaborated directly with schools, local rural schools, and so younger students, because they identify them as that society group that is at higher possibilities than to out-migrate when schools are finished for look for opportunities. And in that case, of course, the strategy was to talk with high schools, with local schools. And in general, I think in some comments it was written that, for example, rural immigrant workers, of course, they have language barriers, but it's also a matter of spaces. No, these different societal groups do not populate the same spaces. So in this case, I agree to some extent that you have to work with, let's say, institutionalized to some extent associations, but not only, because I think one of the limits to talk with umbrella organizations that are very institutionalized is that they arrive to, let's say, very active societal groups, but you do not reach instead those groups that are more marginal. So in that sense, I think you really and probably is to relate more to the second point, but is we have really to strive to maintain those spaces really open and not with with a hat on it, because sometimes, and this relates probably to what Beatriz was saying in leader now like I cannot mention the name, but the local actor groups sometimes are not perceived as so open.
Yes. Not open, and sometimes the leader is like they represent a very few actors from rural areas. Actually, they were born to be bottom up, but they are more rather top down, I guess. And I think with this structure, we cannot take that risk just to reproduce the same, representativeness. Okay, thank you, Carlo. Any other comment? I can't see only the I just removed from the other. I can only see the ones on the screen. Maybe there are some ones. Okay, yeah, Fabiana.
Yes, just a reflection.
There's plenty of them.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. Just a reflection that we saw in Granular. If the project has very broad aims, in the first time could be a problem for the living labs, but could be also an opportunity because they can have more spaces to decide in what way they want to work, what is the priorities or preliminary tasks. So sometimes it's better to, also when you are writing the call, it's better to have a very broad aims, and then you have time to explore with partners and also inside of the living labs, and then could be also a pieces of response of the comments that you mentioned before, to have more spaces for the territories in understand what is the best way in order to reach the broader aim of the project. So thank you.
Okay. I think we can jump to the second question. I think we have already mentioned. Oh, sorry, Atifa. Yeah. Yes, Atifa, please. Yeah.
Everybody, can you listen?
Yes, we cannot hear you, but we can listen to you. Yes. Yes. Now we.
Is this clear? Okay. All right. So it's very interesting webinar, and secondly, one thing which I have noticed while doing too much conceptual framework of agriculture and the people who are the marginalized people, that is the woman role, because the system of agrarian and the typical traditional families are not supportive for the woman, and usually the land rights are not appropriately distributed. So in this whole scenario, it is very important, there is a role of institution which is very important to channelize everything. So the government and the powerful stakeholder of the society can do that. So they can participate. For example, if we talk about the technology adoption, and if we talk about the some sort of new developments in agriculture, like climate smart agriculture, which is uh, which is very important right now, but women can't contribute the same way. So the role of institutions and the role of policy is very important, and there should be some focus on that as well. So this is my point.
Okay. Could you add, Atifa, could you add to the Padlet? Could you write?
Sure. In the third one?
In the Padlet?
Or in the...
Could you?
All right. Okay, I'm going to add this.
Yes, please, because later on, for us it's very useful to make an analysis and then to get all the feedbacks from you. So please, if you can just
okay.
Include your point, which is very interesting, of course. We haven't talked about gender balance, actually. For us, what we have found in ESIRA is quite equal balance. I mean, we have a almost same number of women and men, okay, which it's quite good, because if we compare the statistics, at least in Spain, the rural areas are more, I don't know that word in English. There are much more men than women, especially in middle age. So we have found like a quite and it's quite a good outcome. This gender balance in the group, gender balance and gender representation, equal gender representation. So I don't know.
This is a wonderful news.
Yeah.
This is a wonderful news. That in Europe it can be possible, but the countries in Southern Asia and some other countries who are developing countries right now, because I belong to Pakistan, so the gender participation is not like that. Secondly, there is no autonomy for the woman. I don't know about the Spanish woman, but the power of the household is with the male. The decision making is in the hand of males. Women are doing dual work. They are managing household stuff, and they are managing the things which are the outside for agriculture side. So they are overburdened. They are working as a caretaker of the family, and they are also doing other stuff. So if we talk about Asian countries, particularly Pakistan or India, but so women are not that, land rights are not that appropriate even in such areas. And I'm happy that in Europe it's completely entirely changed. The perspective is entirely changed.
I wouldn't say completely changed. I think there's still a long way for equality done.
Yes.
But
yes.
If we talk about representation, it's equal. If we go deeper, let's see. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
But I think what we have seen in rural areas is that because of this, what we have mentioned, this cultural background, rural women have been usually more active. They are used to join in association. Maybe this association have to do with the role of housewife, but still they have been quite strong in associating. So that's this participatory base has been very useful, that then they can join another participatory structures. That's my point. It's only a particular vision. I don't know.
Okay, I'm going to add the institutional role and policy in the details. Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Okay, then we jump to the second one. Okay, just a few ideas. The question was, it was a very and in very open way, how to maintain this particular structure, participatory structures over the time. I was just mentioning at the beginning in my presentation what will happen once the project are over. They still, I don't know, maybe you have the experience that after in another project, this structure have maintained. Maybe it's going to be very difficult. I agree with Anna, the first one, who wrote, I don't know if later on she wants to share. She said a concrete achievement will maintain motivation. And this is true. I think the other day in a focus group, we were talking about that people are motivated once they can see the preliminary result, once they can see that initiatives are setting up and are progressing, and that's motivate. Maybe they are directly or indirectly involved in those initiatives. I don't know, which is your perception, please. Just want to hear you. There are quite a lot of answers. I don't know if Anna or anyone else want to add something. And you, Angel, just move this second one just to have a look. Thank you. Sonia, you mentioned avoid to leave the map. Okay, well, we have Anna. Yes. Thank you, Anna.
Okay, you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So hello everyone. I am the manager of the Hungarian map within the ESIRA project, and you see that as for the topic, I always wrote that Hungarian map assessment, because after a year work, we stopped and we made an kind of an interim assessment of what we have achieved so far and how to build the future for that the map can work effectively according to the project plans and also according to the members' needs. So yeah, everybody agreed that if there will be concrete achievements, like tangible results, that that way this multi-actor platform will survive even if me or any other facilitator will not be present after the project will be ended, because this is a place for them to come together, to share information, to think together. There are opportunities to co-create, and it's very important. It's a unique opportunity for the map members in our territory. But concrete achievements are very much needed. And also, as for what Carlo has written, that establishing local open spaces, I think it's a very great idea, and it would be really, it would really help to create personal connections between all kinds of members of the population. But in Hungary, it's very hard to realize at the moment because of all kinds of reasons. I will not go deeper into them, but yeah. So I absolutely agree, but in Hungary right now it cannot be done. But I'm very curious about the other countries' representatives here. What do you think about these local open spaces?
Yeah, maybe Carlo wanted to say something.
Yes, thanks, Anna. I was about to ask the same because yeah, I'm very curious to see what are the perception on this because actually I raised my hand because we see that in our project, but also in previous projects. Sometimes living labs or other multi-actor approaches, basically their reason to exist was to deliver an outcome, but then also to be, sometimes they deliver the outcome and they finished with the outcome. So that is to say that to me it is necessary, but is not is not sufficient, let's say. And I think the reason to exist should be more linked to the idea of collaboration. Sonia, I think at the beginning was talking about social capital. I think in most of the EU rural areas that I am from those areas, but also the ones that I see, especially in Italy, sometimes rural areas misses those spaces where freely you can exercise this social capital because there are not so many spaces where and I'm not talking about only about the concrete spaces, but spaces that are freely accessible where there are not already power dynamics that are there, where people can exchange ideas and reflect. And to me, when we worked with living labs and different multi-actor platforms, personally, I think that this can be a future trajectory where of those spaces. Of course, with a dedicated business model, let's say, because they have to find the resources to work. But yeah, this is my idea, and I'm very curious to understand it from different geographical areas. You can see this first this need and also this possibility. Thanks.
Okay, Bea, I have bad news because I think that the time is over.
And we don't have more time.
Well, I think that perhaps people have put only in the agenda until 12:30. I think that there are a lot of comments. I think that we can try to wrap in 5 last minutes.
Oh, okay.
Any last comment, Bea?
I don't know now. I have so many things now. I am just shocked. I don't know. I agree. What I'm happy, honestly, that to have this space this morning to share and comment. I think most of us as researchers and working with MAP members who also join, we have the same challenge. I wouldn't say problems, but same challenges. We have so many questions around participation. I think it's a huge. I think it's a good reflection. We are working with the European Commission, and then European Commission ask us why vulnerable groups are not working. Meaning, like, we didn't try. I mean, it's not. We're working with people. We are working with so many different background people, and it's not an easy task, these participatory issues. So I think it's good and it's very useful, and we should keep doing this kind of meetings, of groups, just sharing our dApps. We all trust this, of course, in ESIRA, and I assume in the others, these participatory structures and tools, but still they are very challenging. It's not easy to join people, to keep people maintaining these structures. So I don't know, just to say thank you for all for your comments, and please, we should keep and organize another meeting with some, once we have some advantages. So yeah, so I think this small network that we have created this morning, we could keep in touch and keep talking about this topic that I assume that we are all very interested in all that. That's from my side. So
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you, Beatriz, for your facilitation. I took a minute to wrap the main ideas regarding these 3 questions. Regarding the representativeness of some groups, the ideas are related to involving associations of these different groups, youth, women, migrants, organize ad hoc activities and communication regarding materials, languages, and activities about the interests of these groups. Of course, guarantee human rights, working conditions, and well-being of the most vulnerable groups to facilitate the involving in other activities, visit them in their schools, organization spaces, use social media, use the snowball method to share experience, ideas, be patient, generate trust, use the right spaces and channels with these groups, and also create community ambassadors. I think that most of these uses are responsibility of the partners, the research and institutional partners in the project. It's not a responsibility of the vulnerable groups. I think that we have to take these ideas and implement these ideas in our project. Regarding the maintaining of the multi-actor platform in the future over time, it's important to concrete achievements, a structure map as an open space to different groups and different interests to share information, to being together. I think that the map maps are open the path of collaboration and social innovation in the future. Perhaps now we haven't got enough results, but we are creating a new path for this community collaboration. We have to avoid suddenly disconnection by research and institutional partners of this project. Sometimes I think that rural communities have the feeling of another more project. No, this is not another more project. This is something for your community. We have to work the consistency. We have to monitor the results and make or create the feeling that rural people, rural experiences matter. And related to the incentives, this is always a controversial issue because some opinions are regarding that training, create and organize events, courses, non-material incentives is the most adequate way of working. But in other cases, we feel that maps are regarding asking for financial incentives. I think that in our case, in our mind is that be a member is a voluntary activity, and we have to make that is important. I think that results, the things that we are doing with the map is the incentive. if we are creating spaces, if we are creating initiatives, if we are organizing events, cultural activities, these are the incentives. And also the create relationships is an incentive to be part of something. And I think that the MAP members, they have to feel that these results, these activities are contributing to the rural development. And this is the real incentive, I think so. But it's very difficult issue to deal. I think that these are the last ideas. Of course, thank you for your participation. Thank you for being so active. And if you want, we can try to organize this kind of community of practice more often. Of course, if you have any idea that you want to discuss in this forum, because you think that is important for your maps or your projects, I think that this is the space. We can try to organize something related to the topics that are that you are interested in. And anything else by my side, only thank you all the participants, thank you the presenters, the presentators, thank you for your experiences, the presentation of your projects, thank you to Bea for facilitating, and thank you to Angel and Melissa for the technical aspects. And anything else? See you in the next community of practice of ESIRA. We keep in touch in our different channels. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.